Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for clicking on our faces. Today, we are here back again with another book review. Of course, we are discussing The Washingtonienne by Jessica Cutler, a true story of a Washington area escort, shall we say, in a way. So let's just get straight into the summary here. Really quickly, the Capitol Hill aide who scandalized Washington, D.C. with her blog has now written a sharp, steamy, utterly unrepentant novel set against the backdrop of the nation's capital. When Jacqueline Turner's fiance gives her 2 days to move out of his apartment, she has no choice but to leave New York City and crash with her best friend in Washington, D.C. She needs an exciting new life, not to mention real employment, where better to get a fresh start than the nation's capital. Alas, DC turns out to be a lot more buttoned up and toned down than she hoped. It's a town where a girl has to make her own excitement, and Jacqueline Turner is just the woman for the job. From the married presidential appointee who gives her cash after each tryst to I can't even, Lativius, somebody help me out with that. Whatever this word is, Georgetown lawyer who parades her around like something out of Pretty Woman. Jackie's roster of paramours grows so complicated that her friends ask her to start a blog so they can keep up. But in a small town of Washington, the line between private and public blurs very easily, and Jackie quickly realizes this blog idea may be more than she bargained for. So, this was E's pick. So tell us a little bit of why you selected this book for this one.
So I read this book, I want to say, oh my God, let me not even. I read this book a little under 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I remember, you guys are going to think I'm such a lame loser, but I remember being at a bar and then following up with like a club lounge scenario with this book in my purse, and I couldn't put it down. Like my friend had to keep tapping me and being like, we're out and you're reading a book. Can you put it away, please? You're embarrassing us. And I was like, okay, fine. But I could not put this book down. It was so addicting. And maybe it was kind of like a revisiting, I guess, of like when everybody was reading them freak books when we was in high school. And it was just like riveting. Like the main character is like living on the edge, and she is effing and essing everyone across the Eastern Seaboard. And it was just so funny, and it felt to me like just such a scandal. And I just really also loved that it was set in DC. I think that it being set in DC and kind of like that cover art really grabbed me, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna give this a quick read. And it was just so like I had to finish. I had to know what this girl was doing next. And then another piece is, as a character, I think she did a good job of being just raw and honest, and
Yeah.
I appreciated that. Like, she criticized everyone around her, but she criticized herself first and foremost, always very self-aware.
Okay, I can agree. When we get to Jackie, she definitely felt like. Oh, and again, this is a spoiler free. We're getting into spoiler free talk. This first half, we'll let you know when we get into spoilers later in the video. But I definitely got the sense that this was an early 2000s book, because early 2000s was like the horniest time in America. We had like all the raunchy movies, all the Sex in the Cities, all of that. And this is right along that vein. It felt very much like, Carrie Bradshaw or something, like something about the quickness of it and the scandalousness of the topic made me think, yeah, this is early 2000s, 1000%. I did enjoy her as our main character. A lot of the times, I feel like books kind of fall into the trap of having like a Jane Doe main character, kind of dry, kind of the every woman without a personality, a little less of a personality, so she can be the every woman. But this main character. She was scandalous. She was going to tell it like it is, and I enjoyed it. It was refreshing. It was a refreshing read because of that. But yeah, those are my quick thoughts about the book. Stephanie O, are you prepared to give us a quick little rundown of what you thought? If not, we can go into our star ratings. All right. Our ratings here. Oh, you back?
Yes.
All right. So, what did you think? Spoiler free.
So sorry about that. So respectfully, and I'm gonna finish it, but there was no plot to this book. It was not interesting at
Okay.
all. It was all raunchy. And I'm cool with raunchy, right? I watched Game of Thrones. The first season of Game of Thrones was nothing but risque behavior. Okay. To me, outside of her escapades, there was nothing else going on, which is why, like, when we think about Court of Mist and Fury, that's why a book like that was, in my opinion, and even the Hermione and Manacle, excuse me, I couldn't think of the name of it, Draco, Manacle, like, I still need a plot. I'm cool with the sleazy, I'm cool with all that, but what else is going on? I didn't sense anything else was going on,
Okay.
personally.
Fair. Now, so if you had to rate it, 5 stars being absolutely the best thing you ever read, and
Right?
1 star being absolute trash, where would you be?
1.5.
Oh, 1.5.
1.5. And that's because it wasn't poorly written, just wasn't nothing else but erotic. What was this, an erotic novel or something? Like, it just wasn't anything else going on.
Okay, okay. All right.
For
Now,
me. For me.
so me, I would give it, so again, 5 being the best book I ever read, 1 being absolute garbage. I'm going to give it a solid 3. I did enjoy it. I thought it was, a easy read, a quick read. I definitely felt like, okay, this is something that I can enjoy listening to while I'm doing other things because I listen to it on Audible.
Mm-hmm.
But it isn't something that I'm like, oh, this is a pay. I got to get back to this because I
Right,
can't wait to
right,
see what happens.
right,
So I would give
right.
it a solid 3 stars. Like if this is your thing, I feel like it's a quick and easy
Yeah.
read, and it's definitely digestible. And I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed the main character, even through all of her flaws. So 3 for me. What about you? Ian?
Not her flaws. No, of which there were many.
Uh-huh.
Um, so 5 being the best thing I ever read. I mean, that there's not a lot of those. And I do agree, there's not a lot of plot for me. It's very much so like a slice of life of a bitchy white girl who has things given to her for free all the time. I would give it a 3.7, if I may,
Okay.
because
Okay.
I could not put it down. And while I agree there was not a lot of plot happening, there was end game, and the end game was to be able to sustain a life of fabulosity with nothing to bring to the table.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Absolutely nothing.
All
So
right, all right. So we got 3.73, and what was that? 1.5. Isn't that what you get? All right. So with that being said, we are now getting into our spoilers. So hold tight. All right. Now again, if you don't want to hear the spoilers, get out of here. But as far as okay, so there were a couple things that happened in this book that I was just like, oh my god, girl. For one, I felt like this character. I wasn't sure if when I don't even know where to begin. There was a one part of the book where her parents refused to answer her call, and I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here, right? She speaks to the sister. The sister says the same, and she hears through the sister that the parents are getting divorced, and that the sister is always asking for money. So I'm thinking in the back of my head, I don't know if I read too many thrillers or something. I was thinking, did the sister kill the parents? And that's why she hasn't talked to them, and only the little sister know where they are. But when we find out that they actually are getting divorced, and this oldest sister, the younger sister's a little, I guess narcissistic, and so is Jackie. And I'm thinking, is this just are they like, what is it? I feel like she has maybe borderline personality disorder. I know she goes to a therapist later in the book, and she's diagnosed with depression after one session, which is crazy to me. You definitely need more than one session of therapy to get a full diagnosis. But me not being a therapist at all, I feel like she has borderline personality disorder. And the fact that she was just running through these guys and just not, what was that? The one guy she was sleeping with, and who was he was he was riding bikes around the city with sweaty balls.
A courier.
Yes, and I'm like, girl, he can't do nothing for you. Why are you wasting your time with this one? Like, at least, with the lawyer and the other one, they got some money to give you. Like, what is he doing? But it was, oh yeah, but she got money. Why don't she just buy her own drugs?
So she can get them for free.
And her friends, horrible friendship, horrible girls. I didn't like none of them. But I'll let someone else speak. I've been speaking for a while.
Okay, I'll dive in a little bit. So like I said, like this just really opened my I didn't have a lot of white girlfriends growing up, so I didn't get to bear witness to the craziness and the wild scenarios that they would get themselves into. I had some by extension, like associates, so I would hear the crazy stories and tales, but I never like firsthand bear witness. And this was very akin to everything I ever heard about young white women who were thin and blonde, who all went to the same schools and dated the same guys, and then went on to, work on the Hill or whatever. Like, but all those stories I heard from my friends who did run in those circles, this was exactly that. And I would say it's actually, just exactly that. I mean, partying every day, getting high and staying drunk, staying high, being high on like the hard drugs, going to work, like it just this reliance on not being sober in order to get through the day, and this kind of really apathetic outlook on life that just was like allowed them to have complete abandon for any moral compass they might have had. Made for a fun read, if I'm being honest. And there's sides of me that wish that I could have cast my morals to the wind in my youthful days, and just did whatever. That said, there's the downsides to it. Obviously, she got taken advantage of a lot. She did a lot of taking advantage of men and people in her life, but she got taken advantage of a lot. And she went through this entire story not being able to trust anyone, not even her dearest and closest friends, not even her own parents. Like you said, her parents weren't even answering the phone for her when she would be talking to them. And when she finally talked to her mom's just like, no, I know you need me right now, but I'm like going on a getaway with my new boyfriend. It's like, I see where she got it from. And it's just, it gave me a lot of sympathy for her, because it's like, while she's going around using and abusing and trying to get what she can get from whoever she can, it's like, and succeeding often, she would end the day feeling real sad and real empty and very, very lonely. And it's like a hole inside her. Like, she just kept putting things into it in every way.
Very visual.
but getting nothing in return, and it's just nothing fills it up. Um, it really reminded me of like maybe the white version of The Coldest Winter Ever. Winter was very much so, how can I get ahead? How can I get ahead? What can I get? You know what I'm saying? And it never paid off to the level of what she had to give away, give up of herself. Um, and so in that way, it was interesting, and it just was like, what is this girl going to get into next? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but also, I'll get into it later. But the parts that they skipped were excessively raunchy and
Oh,
really showed like her gall in trying to deliver a comeuppance for some of her sexual partners, but also not feeling like she has any part in what like the bad stuff that they were doing. It was just very like she's judging them, but you're very much so party to the things that they're doing that are damaging. And you're damaging everyone around you, and are also damaging these people. So it was just crazy.
all right. Okay, we'll get into that in just a second. I cannot wait to discuss it. Hi. Thanks for watching. Happy Friday. So Z, what any thoughts, any spoiler thoughts of the book? Like, what did you really think? Give us the whole tea.
I mean, again, like if she wasn't with a man, then she was at her desk talking about men. Like I just was, and when you talk about the her dear friends, it's like what's sad is that she didn't even recognize these girls really wasn't your friends from the jump. So for them to be your close friends, that just meant you had no friends. So it just, and again, one could say, okay, maybe this is similar to Gossip Girl, but again, even Gossip Girl has stuff going on. It's not just raunchy. It's literally like other things happening that make you go, oh, what's, like it just wasn't, it's just not enough going on to be a story. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
All
not
right.
enough.
All right. Not your genre. Now you don't like the slice of life, huh? Not for you.
I mean, and again, I would try another one, but if there's not another plot going on outside of them sleeping with men, I no, it's not my genre. No.
Okay, got it. Now it's time to discuss in detail what exactly did Audible and audiobooks remove from the book? Because as you were alluding to,
Good
it's
point.
something a lot of stuff was missing, plot points, chapters, scandal. So what happened? Give us the tea. What's going on with that?
so what comes to mind, I'm just going to give like a brief overview. There were a few chapters that had additional sexcapades that were completely skipped over. One was a weekend trip she took with Phil the millionaire to Miami,
Okay.
and that I think that really, it's unfortunate it wasn't part of the Audible book because she I felt like she showed a lot of her vulnerability in those chapters, and it kind of, oh no, am I frozen?
No, I can hear you.
It kind of humanized her a lot because she realized, oh, I might be a New York 8, a DC 10, but I'm a Miami 6. I'm a Miami 5. And
Okay.
she didn't say it in those terms, but she very much so was like, all these women's bodies here are beautiful. And Phil is breaking his neck at every last one of them. And even one night where she like dresses to the nines, wears this super slutty Roberto Cavalli dress, and it's red, and it's just like really flatters her body. It's very sexy. It's very revealing, and she looks hot. They
Mm.
go to a restaurant, and he's still looking all over the place, and she's just like, ugh, like she's just so put off by him, and by this trip that he's just like, she just flies, she leaves, she eventually leaves. He goes out to the club, he stays out all night. By the time it's like 6 a.m. the last day of the trip, she's home, and she has gone to Marcus's house.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's, oh my god,
Okay. Yeah, she really like.
by comparison, like this is where I want to be. This is like, to me, this part is crucial in kind of giving meaning to her wanting and desiring to be with Marcus so badly toward the end of the book.
Okay.
And also to why Phil is this huge jerk that she keeps referring to. The audiobook does not really define him with any real circumstances where or why he's a jerk and why she
Yeah.
considers him to be one. Another really, really crazy part that happens right before the Miami trip. Oh my gosh, what's happening? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you. And I don't know what's happening on my laptop. Anyway, so another part is right before the Miami trip, she gets a call from Kevin. And if you remember, Kevin is the guy who is an ex-boyfriend. She cheated on her fiance Mike in New York with him.
Oh
And
yeah.
and tried to lie and say, yeah. So she gets not even a call. She gets an email on AOL from Kevin. And he's like, hey, can you meet me? By then, he's like married, you know what I mean? And he's even in town, in DC, in town with his wife, right? They're at the Mayflower Marriott, and he is like, just come see me. And she's like, fine, whatever, I'm going to go because we have unfinished business. And she's just really honestly trying to get him back for telling the truth and blowing up her New York life.
Yeah.
And so she goes to meet him at the hotel. She's in his room. He is like, him and his wife are staying in the room. And so, but she's off somewhere shopping, maybe, I don't really know. And he is like, hey, maybe we should just get our own room across the hall, or maybe we should get another hotel or something like that.
Not
because anything can happen.
His wife.
She could walk right in. And by the time he's like finished saying that, she's already butt naked. She's like, no, we're doing this now here. And so he's like, okay, fine. Well, we have to be quick. And so he starts to like, take his crown or whatever. And she runs over and she's describing how he has to she like waits around while he fumbles around trying to find the right angle, as smaller men have to do. This is what she says in the book. and then she's like, and I'm gonna do this or whatever. I don't really want to, but I'm gonna do it because I already accomplished my mission, whether we finish or not, which was to leave my G-string behind her Lily Pulitzer bag. Ooh. And if she happens to miss my G-string, she's gonna see all this sparkly whatever brand she says, I forget, that everyone was wearing back then, body glitter all over him, all over his pants, all over this bed, all over his face.
Oh my.
And that's the tea on that. And then so she leaves, and you just know that she has blown up his life. As a result of that. There's one last thing. It's not even a sex scene. It's more like a scene of a little snippet right before she heads to Kevin, where Fred, the government agency official or whatever, she calls him to cancel on him because she's going to meet with Kevin, and they have their weekly meeting, and she's like, hey, I can't make it because this is my off week, if y'all know what I mean. And he's like, no, wait a minute, that's next week. And she's like, how do you know my week is? Does he keep it in his BlackBerry? He's too in it. He's too in it. And then she's like, well, guess what? No, it came early. And then so he's like, well, can't you just put a towel down? And she's like, no, like, are you doing that all the time? That's like a biohazard. And that scene doesn't matter that much, except for the fact that she gave just enough detail for me to spend about an hour and a half narrowing down who that person actually was in real life.
Oh,
yeah.
So did you find out?
I absolutely did. His name is Joshua. What is it? Joshua. What's the last name? I want to say it's Joshua. Is it Bennett? I have it up on my other laptop.
Okay.
But he was the White House chief of staff under the George W. Bush administration.
Let's put
Yeah,
allegedly in this, so just in case. Allegedly.
allegedly.
we believe.
But my Googles told me that that's who he was, because she described him as looking like this one actor, Kevin Branagh or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And I also looked up so many office secretaries that George W. Bush appointed. He was one of them, and he kind of favors him.
Oh.
Another one of the guys I was able to identify was who the real Marcus is. And he
Okay.
actually self-identified, because at the end of all this, he decided to sue her. He sued her and he sued HBO, because HBO was picking up a series that had Sarah Jessica Parker as an EP that was supposed to be based on this book.
I knew it was given sex. I knew it.
the pilot was, or the show was going to be called Extremely Loose.
Oh.
And they were in talks or whatever, but he did lose the case. However, we obviously didn't get the show. He is now a law professor. I can't remember which university he's at, but his name is Robert Steinbuck. And she was, and this is public information, his lawsuit. And he was, I think he was a legislative counsel under the same senator whose office she was working in, which is also public information. Former Senator Mike DeWine.
Oh my! Look, you're coming with all the tea, all the facts.
Girl, I had to find the tea.
Investigative journalism.
Absolutely, 1000%. I had to.
But yeah, speaking of the author, because again, this is her true story. I pulled her up online, and yeah, she does look like Catherine Zeta-Jones to me, and that's how she describes herself in the book. And so yeah, this is her, and she was really in DC doing these scandalous things with this huge laptop of her.
I'm sorry, but the erect nipple is sending me in this photo. I just cannot, what?
She's always, she got to advertise the goods, okay?
It's a lot. It's just a lot, okay? I didn't notice until just now.
Me either. They're about to flag us.
My bad. Sorry, YouTube. Cross, TTTTT, timeout.
Oh, but this was so hilarious. Honestly, out of all of her men, she should have stayed with the first one. He was about to put a ring on it. She could have been like this lovely housewife doing the thing, but she was young and dumb and ready to risk it all. Yeah, because all of the other guys, everyone else was trash. Everyone else was trash, including Marcus, in my opinion. I didn't like him that much anyway. But yeah, this is very interesting. Thanks for coming with the facts here, Eve.
You know it.
So unless anyone else has anything else to add, I'm going to, end it here. If you're watching, thanks for being here. And like the video if you like the video, and join us in a couple weeks, because we are going to be discussing and reviewing The Great Gatsby, a classic. I never read it fully. I have seen the movie. And I don't believe anyone else on the panel has watched or read it either. Correct?
I think I read it once, but I was very, very, very young.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's going to be
I've never read beyond the first chapter.
Okay, all right. So we're going to read it, and we're going to discuss it in a couple weeks. So join us for that. And thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Enjoy your Friday, and goodbye.
Bye.